What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is Thursday. It's the Thursday episode of The Big Thing. And, man, there's a lot to talk about on this show. House of the Dragon wrapped up. Is it the best season one of any television show ever? We'll talk about it for sure. There's a lot of great stuff to also talk about. But as you saw in the headline, James Gunn is going to be the co-running DC. What's a James Gunn DC universe going to look like? We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that. Roxy has a whole bunch of picks for television. There's some new shows. Hugh Jackman talks about Wolverine. Oh, and DC is not going to be called the DCEU anymore. There's so much DC stuff. Arkham, they found somebody to run that show. So much to talk about and more. And I have a very important question about Meatloaf. So that and more on today's show. And if you haven't done it already, look at that. What a great graphic for the podcast. I spent about an hour and a half doing everything that I could prepping. So we're not going to talk about the podcast. We're going to talk about the merch. And there's been a lot of people getting the Top Gun guy shirt.
The Top Gun guy?
Yep. Sith Council shirt, capes and cowls, show some class. There's a flirting on the flouse. Big thing's going to be up there probably today. So make sure you got to go and check that out and right now TeePublic's doing a big sale on all their shirts. So you want to make sure you check that out. It helps out the show, and you got to show some class and wear some class. That's the one shirt. I've been doing these shows for years, and my wife's like, "Get me a show some class shirt." That's the one that she wants. So make sure that you do all that. Make sure that you're checking out. And if you have, by the way, and I also want to tell you guys about Patreon. So many great things happen on a Patreon right now. I'm doing the one-on-ones with people. We have the watch-alongs. We do a Q&A every month. We're adding new tiers. And we're going to start adding a new thing where you got to be able to ask questions, voice questions, and we'll play them on the show from certain Patreons. So you get just SEN Live. Also, Brett and Kate's Playdate. So many great things going on that show, on that Patreon. So go and check that out. All right, let's get into it. It's the big thing. It's me. It's Roxy. It's Brett. I'm ready. You ready? Cool. Let's do it. How you doing now? You know. How you doing? You know. Now you know. You know. Now you know. You know. Now you know. How you doing now? How you doing now? I'm gonna do that. I sang a Game of Thrones song the other day. Do you like my Game of Thrones song, Brett?
Yeah.
I liked it.
What's it sound like?
You want to hear it? I can play it for Roxy Strikers here. All right, let's see if I can do it. I don't have the wide shot. No, my whole thing's all messed up.
But you really tried.
I do have the wide shot. I just don't have it on the stream deck and all this nonsense. Anyway, how are you guys?
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah? Is that a true thing or false?
No.
It's false.
Aww.
No,
what's
my
wrong?
God. I can't wait until the day I'm unbelievable again. I feel like it might be 7 years from now.
Why?
What's a good?
Well, just because it doesn't feel anytime soon.
Oh.
I am really excited for Halloween season, though.
Are you going? Do you still do the? Yeah, you're still in
I'm
your 30s.
like-
you go into the party.
It's not because I'm in my 30s. It's because I'm single and childless. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? Sit at home?
Yeah, it's true.
So, yeah, I'm going out Friday and Saturday. I've got 2 Thought costumes. Like, I'm fucking
Wow, that was the most
going.
Boston you ever sounded.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
2 what costumes?
Thought.
Thought? What's thought mean?
They're sexy costumes. They're not like, I'm not like wearing Teletubby costumes, like in a hot costume.
What is it? What's the costume? You don't want to say anything yet?
A sexy
Can't tell you
prostitute.
Yeah, that's what it is. Imagine if I was an unsexy prostitute.
Yeah.
Right. Hello, boys.
I'm one of them. Both of them are for free. So that's how
free?
I picked. Yeah, I like found costumes that were for free.
That's good.
Okay.
Can't spend money on shit like that anymore. Yeah, but I'm excited. One of them is a pop star.
Okay.
Wow, this is a big exclusive. You don't even know how many people have been asking me, and I've been saying, I'm not telling you anything. So
Well,
one of them is a
now
big
you're telling
pop star.
everybody. Who's the big
but
pop star? Oh, I
can't
can
tell you.
guess.
No, you
Can I
can't.
guess?
No, I did Britney last year.
Oh.
But the bigger,
I love that you know me so well. That's the only one that I know that you.
It's Brittany.
That's Brittany.
That's Britney, bitch. No, and then the other one, I tried to pick. I did Britney last year, and this year I'm doing another person. I tried to pick the celeb that I connected to the most that year.
Miley Cyrus.
No,
Billie Eilish.
Great call.
Justin,
Not a good
Justin
call.
Bieber.
Worst call.
Oh.
Thank you guys for knowing me so well.
Connected with.
Dua Lipa.
Oh my God. I'm gonna. You see this table? In my mind, I'm crawled under it.
Do you not
and
like
died.
Dua Lipa?
Dua Lipa.
There's too many peas.
Dupes?
There are too many peas in what you're doing.
Dua Lipa?
Yeah.
Dupa Lippy?
It's embarrassing, bro.
I love Dua Lipa. And then Kate's like, she looks a lot like Steph.
She does.
And I'm
What are
like,
you doing? Are you doing the Dua?
oh,
Dua Leaps?
No, not
Leaping it up?
not leaping anywhere.
is this pop star blonde?
She was when I'm doing her.
Who are you going as at Halloween? We really need to know. Walking down the street with something on your head and you don't know what it is. It could be bread. You put it on your ears. You drink some beers. You do it for a time and you have it for years. You say, now you know, and you go to the show. There's my grandma sitting on the table. Now you know. Grandma, why you always coming into my song? And I don't know how short or so long. I said, Roxy like Dupa Lipa. Roxy like Dupa Lipa. Now you know, now you know, now you know. Dupa Lipa, now you know. Dupa Lipa.
Turn down the Dua Lipa in there.
Here this girl is thinking she's made it, right? She's like, I'm a fucking A-list celebrity star. And here this man on the internet is like, you into Dua Lipa? You like dupes?
The dupes?
Hey, she's an attractive lady, but
Yeah.
to me, she's the dupes.
Yeah.
Dupes.
I hope you meet her one day,
Hey,
and
dupes.
that is what comes out.
I would absolutely say that.
Hey, Dua Lipa.
So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to today on the big thing. We're very excited. Now, this woman, you see her everywhere, and everybody, she's very respected. She's sold millions of albums. Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa.
It's like the Oompa Loompa version of her name.
Are you going as the dupes?
Yeah, I'm going as dupes.
Perfect.
No.
Oh, makes me sad. Now you should.
Now you know.
Now you do know.
She was blonde in the time you're doing.
I'm not going to tell you if you guess it, but I will
Oh.
tell you off air.
Oh.
And then if you say it on air, I'll never speak to you again.
Oh, after I make a guess.
Speaking of never saying anything on the air,
Is
don't
it
worry.
Christina Aguilera?
No,
Don't
you
worry, I'm
can't
not
do-
going to tell the
you can't
story,
do
so I don't
Britney
want
and
you.
Christina
I don't want you to
back-to-back.
get scared. But Brett told a great story on Patreon. Oh, hi. On-
Her face.
my wife just walks by and realized, oh, he does work back here. But on Patreon, Brett told a story that was hilarious. And I'll say this: if you want to find out, I got Brett a brand new television. It's 6 months old. If you want to find out what happened to that television, I would highly suggest watching last week's Brett and Kate on the Patreon. You will not be disappointed. It is worth signing up
Yes.
just for that story, because it was a crazy, crazy story, and I will never forgive Brett.
Oh, you got fucked? What happened?
A little bit.
We can't tell you. You
Yeah.
got it. You gotta
go check it
you
out.
gotta go check it out on the Patreon. Anyway, all right, let's get into this. We have so much to talk about. There really is. Yesterday was insane, or Tuesday rather was insane. So I woke up. I did Can't Be a Show on Tuesday. We talked about a lot of different great stories that were happening in general. And then I also knew, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special drops. So let's talk about that first. The Christmas special drops. You got everybody checked it out?
Yeah.
All right. So I love how proud of you didn't see it.
No.
I love how proud of yourself you were, and you should be, because you're like, yeah, I saw it drop, and I didn't even ask you to do that.
The way he said yeah though was like, obviously I watched it, Christian, and it's like, Brett.
Well, no, I love that. Brett's been on it, and you got to see that. I'm telling you, look at the studio, man. That Amazon list really built this thing out. How do you like the look, Rox?
Yeah, it's looking really good.
Really good. Smells great in here.
And I went and sat in the chairs, and they were dope.
Oh yeah, beautiful those chairs. So you did not see the trailer on purpose?
Yeah. No, I just didn't.
You just didn't. I was going to say, what the hell's going on over there?
No, and I actually haven't watched the Ant-Man trailer yet either.
Oh wow!
I know.
So you're a little behind. You've seen every single show that's on television, but just not those
Can't have time for
trailers.
trailers.
I
but
understand. I
I
understand.
saw them trending everywhere and was like, gotta get to this, and then was like, just didn't get to it.
I understand. I don't like how you look like Dua Lipa over here. Let me just put this.
There we
Yeah.
go.
All right.
What? You don't like how I look like Dua Lipa?
Well,
I've been trying my whole
I was
life
saying
to look like
Oompa. I
Dua
was saying
Lipa.
Oompa Loompa.
Oh.
Like a Oompa.
Do you
now
get
know.
what celebrity? I can't
Drew,
peg you.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore?
I'd say old school Drew Barrymore.
Because
Yeah.
I talk out of the side of my mouth a lot, too.
Sometimes you got an old
Yeah,
school Drew
I
Barrymore. I've always said
love
that
her.
about you.
Yeah, it's the best.
You're Drew Barrymore and Steph is Maya Rudolph to me.
Huh.
In personality.
That's interesting.
In personality.
I love Maya Rudolph.
She's the best. She's great.
Yeah,
she sings a
she's
lot, but she's
awesome.
still great.
And I'm Dua Lipa.
Dupa leaps. All right, let's talk about Guardians anyway. The trailer drops first, and it's relevant to the conversation in general about what then transpired. Like not, I guess, an hour later, or maybe after it dropped, which is crazy. So the Christmas special for Guardians was announced. I didn't even know what the hell it was. I thought it was an animated series the whole time. I because they just had this Groot special that dropped, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, so they're just going to do some animated special, and it's not. It's live action. Has all the actors in it. It's got Chris Pratt and well, I shouldn't say all the actors, but a lot of them. Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista and
The first time you called him Chris Pratt, was that on purpose?
no, it wasn't. I like Chris Pratt, but. Anyway, so Star-Lord's all moping around because of the events that have transpired in the previous movies, and they decide they're going to go back to Earth, and they're going to do a whole, they're going to have a Christmas special, basically, because that's where he's from. So they want to help him out, they want to cheer him up. So what do? They go and they reveal, there's a big reveal at the end of in the trailer, that if they walk up, they go, we're going to get him this gift, and they knock on the door, and it's Kevin Bacon, and they walk in, they're basically trying to kidnap Kevin Bacon the whole time, not Star-Lord, but Bautista and Mantis, or what's his face, what's Bautista's name in the movie? I forget. Drax. So he's chasing him. So they're chasing him around, and at first I was like, I don't know, are we doing this Taika stuff again with and I said to myself. I didn't let the internet do it for me this time, Brett. I did it myself. I said, lighten up, asshole. I said, it's a fucking Christmas special. Yeah. I was like, this isn't supposed to, if it's not tying into the overall lore, it's just having a little fun on Christmas. So I was like, yeah, I get what they're going for.
Is after the duration of what events?
So, for Endgame, after Gamora has died, come back from a different dimension, but now she ran away. She didn't know him.
So not the movie we just saw that they were in.
Well, what were they in just together?
I don't know.
No, it was Endgame was the last one they were in together.
No.
No?
No, we just saw the Guardians. They were all together. They were
Oh, and Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it probably.
I was gonna say Doctor Strange. Honestly, those two movies are running together.
They blended. Yeah, no, I think that from where they were, I think he's still it's probably around that same time. They're going on their missions, whatever. Too. Yeah, but so that was it. And everybody was talking about that, and I'm like, oh, I guess that I'll come home and I'll react to that. Well, that was thrown out the window. I was like, well, I see James Gunn trending, and I'm like, what the hell's this special? Nope.
Where were you coming home from?
Can't be a show.
Oh.
And so he lives in he does his show in Corona, which is like an hour and 30 minutes. It's a drive.
Do you get to drink Coronas while you do it? Do you get to
Not
drive
to
fast
drive.
cars while you go?
Because I would be sitting in a cell right now.
Fast and the Furious. So, makes sense.
Me and Dua Lipa. So anyway,
Dua Lipa's not in a cell. That is slander.
That's dupes. The
Yeah,
dupes.
Dua Lipa might be in a cell somewhere. We don't know.
Yeah.
Dua Lipa. What's going on with the Dua Lipa? Leap. Let's talk about this. James
Leaps.
Gunn and Peter Safran are going to run DC Studios.
This is like the biggest news we've ever spoken
It's-
about on
it's-
this show, and all I want to talk about is dupes.
I think hashtag Dua Lipa is going to start.
Oh, yeah.
Poor girl.
She won't even see it.
No, it's like but no, no, of course she won't see it, but it's yeah,
'cause
poor,
it's her
poor
name's
girl.
spelled wrong.
She shits on us.
Yeah.
So, what? Some Dua Lipa? Who cares? And she makes a Dua Lipa shirt and probably sells it for
Poor,
what we're
famous,
all
rich girl.
worth. Yeah, exactly. All right, listen, let's talk about this. DC has found its Kevin Feige, or rather Feige's. This is from Dark Horizon. Filmmaker James Gunn and producer Peter Safran have begun to lead DC film, TV, and animation efforts as co-chairs and CEOs of DC Studios. Now, DC's a newly formed division at Warner Brothers that will replace DC Films and marks the end of a month-long search by Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, I'm calling him Zaslav right now, David Zaslav, to replace existing DC Films boss Walter Hamada. Gunn's going to handle the creative side, while Safran will focus on the business and production side. Both are expected to continue to direct and produce projects, respectively. Both will report directly to Zaslav and work closely with Warner film bosses Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. The initial overture to the pair reportedly came from DeLuca over the summer. One exception will be Todd Phillips' Joker Foil Ado, which will not fall under their purview and will be overseen by DeLuca and Abdi. It is not clear at present how much involvement they'll have in Matt Reeves' Batman projects. Everything else DC, though, will come under them. Zaslav says in a statement, their decades of experience in filmmaking, close ties to the creative community, and proven track record, thrilling superhero fans around the globe make them uniquely qualified to develop a long-term strategy across film, TV, and animation, and take this iconic franchise to the next level of creative storytelling. Gunn and Safran will work with top execs at Warner Bros., including WB-TV's Channing Dungey and HBO Casey Boys, among others. DC Studios will share resources across the company. The hiring comes into effect on November 1st with the deal to last 4 years. Gunn's new projects will be exclusive to DC during that term. They have signed a 3-picture deal with Dua Lipa.
Is she playing?
We don't even know anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's under
Harley
wraps.
Quinn's sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. There's so much here.
Happily Quinn.
But there's Happily Quinn. There's so much.
Harley Quinn.
Now, I know you don't give a shit about a lot of this stuff normally. But this one, did you hear this news when it hit yesterday?
No.
Okay.
I watched the trailer. That was.
Okay, yeah, this is
That's
like
fine.
my
This
jam.
is your jam,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
why I'm going to you second.
Okay.
No. Because I did.
But that's good
that
news, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
that's where we're going to go from.
What do you think?
What would you think? Great question. What do you think about? So James Gunn,
Yeah.
who you know, the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, director, right, is going
Guardians
to
of
be
the Galaxy.
Right, is going to be the Kevin Feige now of DC Studios. What do you think?
I like it
Why do you like it, Brett?
because I like those films.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a Suicide Squad hater. I enjoyed
So
it.
this is
This is the Suicide Squad.
Oh no, I mean that one. Yeah, I did see
Most
that.
people
one.
like that one.
Yeah. And I love Guardians, and no, I think I'm gonna go with my heart
Yes.
and say that this is good news for the DC, not DCEU.
Yeah, they're going to change
DC
that.
Studios.
We'll get to
DC
that.
Studios.
How do you feel about Peter Safran?
I don't know that chap.
So how do you feel knowing that he was the EP of Peacemaker and has worked with Feige many times? I mean, has worked with
James
Gunn
Gunn.
many times
They
before.
partnered
Oh
up
well,
big
yeah,
time.
I love Peacemaker, so that's good news.
Great.
So, Roxy,
I love this. Is like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, let's get
I
into
hope
your
she's fine.
let's get into your opinion on it. My guess is that Roxy loves this news. Am I
Yeah,
right?
you're dead ass right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I think it's awesome. I think the one thing that is weird, and we all do it, is refer to the job position as the Kevin Feige of whatever, and it's like that is not. They are co-chairman of DC Studios now. That is what they are doing. But everybody's like they're the Kevin Feige.
Well,
and
but
it's
you know
like-
why that is though. It's not just. You're right when it comes to like the position and the title. Those titles have existed in a lot of different places, right? When they're talking to Kevin Feige, it's a matter of the person that's going to put people, like, because what Kevin Feige did in this connected kind of universe, almost like a television, hasn't really been done beforehand. So that's why he gets the Kevin Feige. But they want somebody to take all the properties and put it in a concise plan.
I do understand. I just
Yeah.
think they should retitle the job as Feige then. Like anywhere that has
That's
it.
true.
If we're going to just
Right.
call it like that
Right.
everywhere.
Right.
But the reason that they're bringing them both on, Brett, is because Gunn is the creative producer, essentially. He's the one overseeing all the creative, and Safran is the one doing all of the business. And so it's like the two of them merged together are creating this great duo for DC. They both know comics really well. We know Gunn is capable of creating worlds. And I think that the way that, sometimes like a Robin Williams or Jim Carrey, like these amazing comedic actors can be these wildly talented dramatic actors, but it doesn't always go the other way around. I feel that way about Gunn, where he took shit and made it gold with characters nobody knows. He made a fucking tree and a raccoon gold.
Right.
What can he do then with
He took an obscure property that people that read the comics really liked, but
Yeah, I don't mean
average people.
shit like
No,
they
I know
were
what you
awful.
mean.
I
know
just
what you-
mean it was like
Nobody knew-
nothing.
they were obscure.
Yeah,
They were obscure,
yeah. It better
so-
to say like air and made it into water. Like
Right.
he took something that was so there was nothing. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, is this a cash grab? They just want the toys. What's
Right,
going on
right.
here?" And instead, he took something that was meh and made it into one of the big properties. And so I'm really excited to see what he can do with DC. They both know comics. They both understand what the job is here. My only concern is that they are reporting to Zaslav, who clearly is a businessman, only cares about his bottom line, as he should care about his bottom line. And I wonder if Zaslav is going to trust the fact that he hired them and let them do their thing, or if he's going to be really making the decisions.
Well, that's a fair question. But from what I've gathered with Zaslav, and the reason I've not calling him Zoloff for now, because I think what I made a promise that I said that when he makes decisions that I think that are helping DC and Warner Brothers, I'm gonna call him by his right name. When he makes bedside manner stupid things, like I will, and I've been on the record, the Batgirl decision. If Warner Brothers looked at Batgirl and said, "This is a bad movie, we can get a tax break on it, and we don't want to release it," I think that's fair. I think that's okay. But not the way that you announced it. You announced it in a way that you really made a lot of people feel horrible.
You made Brandon Fraser cry, for Pete's sake.
Well, he's done a lot like that with announcements and the way that he's done it to investors.
Also, we haven't heard that it was horrible. That was the weirdest part of it.
Yeah, but from what a lot of people are saying, it's just inside track. It's not
It wasn't
good.
even done. It wasn't even fully complete.
They did screenings of it, enough to where they could do screenings of it. But either way, it was just that his bedside manner hadn't been the greatest. But then the news of Henry Cavill pops in, that he's listening to the fans, and that idea that he approves that, and the fact that there was this whole thing with Hamada was butting heads with The Rock at one point, and The Rock had to go around Hamada to get this done. And he does seem to be listening to what the fans have, the collective fans, not just like pockets, have wanted. And so I give him that credit thus far. And he goes out and making a move like James Gunn, where Marvel, and you can go back, and we don't normally like to talk about this stuff on the show, but it's relevant to the story, is that James Gunn had some tweets that were pulled in the past, and that was used against him, and Disney acted quick, fired him, took him off of Guardians 3 or whatever it was, and then he was it looked like he was kind of cast out. At that point, he then started talking to DC, signed up for the Suicide Squad, other things, and then Disney
fucking hired him.
Right. They reconciled.
Think about this man's last few years.
Yeah.
Like, Homeboy is over at DC. I mean, is over at Disney. Crushes for them. Crushes. Then
Makes billions of dollars for them.
Then gets fired. Then hops over and is like, all right, y'all want to fire me over some tweets from years ago? Okay. Goes over to Warner Brothers. Crushes for them. DC. And then Disney's like, they weren't that bad. Come back.
Well, it's also because of Dave Bautista.
Back to them.
Dave Bautista had a lot to do with that, too.
A lot of the cast, too.
They all stood up for him.
And now is in a 4-year exclusive with DC.
Right. And part of that deal, which it didn't say in this particular article, but the one I read yesterday, is that he's exclusive to DC. He
has to be. You can't be the Feige and not be exclusive.
Right. You cannot. So that means even though people knew that Guardians 3 was the last of it, at least for him, that was talked about for a while, even at Comic-Con. But there was rumors that he might be able to do other stuff with him. He's gone. He is gone from Marvel. Marvel has lost him completely, and I think probably part of that reason is from the stuff that happened in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised if he probably took a little bit of that to heart but anyway, what it is, it always reminds me sports-wise, right? DC has a lot of, like, you look at the baseball team, you look at what Theo Epstein did when he left the Sox and he went over to Chicago, won him a championship over there, and is a major that he's like Hall of Fame owner now.
Yeah.
Right? Hall of Fame. He won championships with 2 teams that did not have any titles. So DC has had some wins, but they just can't win that World Series, right? And so they're basically going, well, here's a guy that's won a bunch of World Series with the Yankees, right? And they pull him off the Yankees and they put him on to win those championships. And that's what they're doing with James Gunn, because Gunn has also been around Feige long enough and understands, and you're absolutely right, he knows comic books very well. This isn't just a guy that's going to go, oh, I like these goofy things. He's a big comic fan. Now, the criticisms that I've seen in the comments and other things too, and the worry, and not from just the people that just want to scream and yell, not those people, the people who have like legitimate concerns when they see Gunn's style, right? When you see the Suicide Squad, when you see Peacemaker, you're like, is that what the DC universe is going to be?
How's that going to translate to our Justice League characters?
Right. Now, a lot of the stuff that he directs, maybe, depending on what he's going to direct. Peacemaker, Peacemaker's definitely getting season 2, 3 now. He can keep giving it check marks until the day he wants to. Stop it. But the overall. What was that? No, I wasn't. I was continuing my thought. I was like, until the day he wants to stop it. I wasn't just talking. I wasn't just talking to somebody randomly.
Do you know how many times a day you tell me to stop it?
I know. So
I was like, what I do?
So everybody, just so think about it. Stop it. No. It was a really bad way to continue my sentence.
Who's here?
Yeah, who's here? But either way, he's now. I think he's going to produce more. And I actually made this point about him on Campy Show the other day before this was announced. I wanted to see him, and this is not going to happen anymore. I wanted to see him take over and do a Knights of the Old Republic. I wanted to see him executive produce that series because he's a massive Knights of the Old Republic fan. He knows it ins and out. And people are always like, I don't want to see Gunn style all over that. Don't just assume that he's going to do that. He's a creative enough guy that he knows that you can't do that with everybody. You can't. I mean, do you think that this is going to – is that a concern of yours?
It's not a concern of mine, to be honest, because I think that like I was talking about before, I think it's easier going in the direction he's going in. I don't know that I would trust, oh God, I wish I could think of any name that wasn't Zack Snyder right now, but let me just use him and know that I'm talking
friends,
about.
By the way.
Totally, but I don't know that Snyder would do great with a Guardians of the Galaxy style movie. I think that it's really hard when you are great with the big stars going the other direction. I do think the people that that work with the smaller characters usually have more knowledge on the bigger characters. Yeah. Please, Snyder fans, it was not about him. It was the only name I could think of in the DC that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but what I do think is I think he's going to be. I think he's got a producer brain, obviously. Right?
Mm-hmm. And he's going to stay directing, too. They said that he's going to sign on to be directing different things. It's genuinely not a concern of mine. He wouldn't have been he wasn't my first choice, but I think he is a really good option.
It's a smart choice, too, because I'll tell you, this is the thing that I want Star Wars to do. I want Star Wars to do something like this. I want Kathleen Kennedy to make a move like this and say, I'm going to basically do the role of what's-his-face, Peter Safran. Kathleen Kennedy said, I'm going to be Safran, and I'm going to hire someone on to be my equal in the creative side of it. She won't do that.
Yeah.
She needs to do that because this is the way to go. This is a great move to put someone who knows how to produce and knows how to put those pieces into play, like you're talking about. Not just the business decisions, but yes, absolutely. But also being able to talk to certain creators and things. Producing is also, as you know, the matter of the conversations that you have and putting the pieces together and all that. And let Gunn start to have those conversations, but then start to form the creative threads and do all that. I mean, that's a team that you need. And I think it's a smart play by Zaslav, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Safran's also very well versed in horror.
Yeah.
He comes from the Conjuring universe, from producing over
yes, he
the
does.
Conjuring.
Yes, he does.
And he, I think, is really savvy, and I think that he understands what fans are looking for. I think that, like, of all different fans, horror fans can be the most intense.
Oh, yeah.
Even though horror is like the one genre where it's like you can make a stink bomb and still make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he really has his finger on the pulse of like what people want and how to have those conversations. Yeah. But if they had just announced him, I would have been like, I don't know, because he was
the rumored. He was the one. Because that was the thing people were talking about after.
Dan
Lin turned it down because apparently Dan Lin wanted way too much, or for whatever. I don't know what he was asking for. I don't know whether it was money or whatever he was asking for.
Plus control, who knows?
Yeah, plus getting him out of his Universal deal was just too problematic. So then the eyes started to. Well, the rumors are that the eyes started going towards him, Safran, and then but then the other rumor is it was always Safran and Gunn. They just kept it under
starting
wraps.
the summer. That's what they said. Because if it had just been this big announcement, Peter Safran is going to be doing the DC Studios heading, I would have been like, let's see, But I think that the Gunn put the cherry on the icing on the cake, cherry on the ice cream.
And they work really well together.
Which is cool. I really think that Berlanti would have been like an unbelievable person for this job.
I wonder. He didn't want it.
I wonder what the conversations were like, because they would have been Zaslav would have been crazy to not have conversations with him.
Yeah.
But we have seen what he can do in the TV universe. Like, who knows what that would end up looking like. He was my number one pick, but now hearing this Gunn Safran combo, I'm like, oh, I think that's better.
I do think it's better as well, and I think that I agree with you. Had they said something about if Berlanti was the name, I think Berlanti would have gotten some like, yeah, that's a good call, but you can't beat Gunn's experience in film. And you also can't beat his experience working with the Marvel machine and knowing what the Marvel machine looks like and why that works. And he's a very smart guy in the way that he plays things out. So my question, Roxy, then is, what does James Gunn and Safran's, what does their DC universe look like moving forward? Because November 1st is when they start. Mm-hmm. What are they starting to play?
And they have 4 years to prove whatever they're doing.
Is that a 4-year deal?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the question, because someone brought this up too. Like what a James Gunn Comic-Con panel is going to look like, right? He knows to put on the big show. Yeah. He knows how to do all that stuff. So what does it look like? Where do they go? Where does Black Adam and Superman fall into all this, do you think? Not that you're going to have all the answers, but what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think that the fact that they have a 4-year deal means that we're going to start seeing changes very quickly implemented. I think that we are going to get a Man of Steel 2, because I just can't picture Gunn coming in and not having his finger on the pulse enough to know. Like, that's what people have been asking.
Plus, they make this big announcement recently.
Huge announcement, and we've got Henry. I think that a lot of people are wondering if Ben Affleck might come back because it is James Gunn. I think that could be a big possibility. Variety reported that the Batman 2 is going to be under Peter Safran and James Gunn, but Hollywood Reporter reported that they don't know yet. So I wonder what's going on with Matt Reeves' property, because it seems like there's contradicting reports there. But I do think that they're really going to focus on, yes, Shazam is working for them. They have The Rock, so whether people like Black Adam or not, we know that some kind of Rock versus Shazam situation coming in the future.
Superman first. Yeah.
Man of Steel 2. I think that we're going to slowly rebuild. We're going to get some more singles, hit more singles until we do build to something.
Like they should have done years ago.
Yeah, right. I think that that's probably where they're at. I know that there's a lot of projects they've announced, and I'm curious what their thoughts are on Booster Gold. What are their thoughts on the Bat family in general? What are they doing with Supergirl, who was supposed to have Sarah Kaye or whatever, who I forget what her name was, but she was supposed to be cast. Like, what are the things that have already been announced? What are you doing with those?
Yeah, I would assume, if I was to guess, I think that, and there's also a lot of questions of, is there going to be a soft reboot? Are they going to continue on with how they did it in general? Probably not on the reboot side. Obviously, if they're going to do Man of Steel 2, but they can maneuver into things and establish other things. When you have The Flash, which is still, they're still, even though this is a great news for them, they're still inheriting a bunch of shit also, right?
Totally. And I think that James Gunn, after what he's been through, probably is like thinking about, okay,
also friends with Ezra.
If we can keep Ezra sane, if we can keep Ezra out of trouble, maybe. But, Ezra has 26 years looming over their head in prison.
Chance.
I don't think so either. Yeah. I'm just saying that will...
Maybe a month of traffic duty.
But if for some reason they end up getting jail time.
And first of all, I want to make that clear when I say that. I'm not saying that that's
what you think
what
they should
deserve.
Do. Yeah.
I'm saying that I just think when it comes to celebrities and that particular thing, Ezra's not going to see much time. If it's true, I think that they should spend a lot of time in jail. But that's just want to make that clear.
The only thing that they're on trial for right now is the breaking, entering, and burglary,
which is still a pretty serious crime
of alcohol. Well, it is a crime, but a 26-year crime. It's
right. Is that what it is? It's 26 years for that?
26 years for that. He's not. They're not on trial for any of the other things. For the grooming, for the threatening of people's lives, for the throwing the chair at the. It's just for that, and I'm like, what? I don't understand the amount of years.
But anyway, go back to it to where you're saying.
But the point being that I think that James Gunn, they have a rapport already. I think that James Gunn is going to be closely watching, and Safran and Zaslav watching to see what happens with the Flash, because what we know about the Flash, or what we think we know about the Flash, is that this is a great movie that they really want us to fucking see. Yeah, like that. And so I think that a lot surrounds that right now.
I think Ezra's gone after this movie, no matter
what,
gone. And I think that but if I'm wrong,
no, I don't know that you're wrong.
Yeah, but if I am wrong, I won't be surprised. But I just feel
the same way, but the other way. But yeah,
because what I would say in that situation, even if it was a friend at this point, it's like, okay, listen, you got this. Zaslav's like, you got this position now. We're trying to build this thing out. There's a lot of goodwill. You look at everything that just happened. People are, for the most part, really excited about this. Yeah, there's that pocket of people who are, for the most part, this was a very positive announcement. And we want to we want to make sure everybody involved gets it, plays ball, does it. If you look at the history, Ezra's probably not going to play ball right now, playing ball.
Yeah. But
maybe not in the long run. What do we do? And we have the out with the multiverse, and we have all this stuff, and we could use it now. And I think that that's what's going to happen. However, what I do think is going to happen, now you mentioned Ben Affleck. I think Affleck is going to appear in more DC movies. I think he's already appearing in Aquaman. He's already appearing in The Flash. I think he's going to appear in more of these movies. And I think he's going to continue to do it in some way when they do have this, the multiverse and all this stuff, the way that they, I don't know what they call it in DC. I assume it's the same thing, right?
Multiverse.
Okay. So, I think they're still going to do that. But I think because James Gunn from the he's like, I think he's 5-10 years older than I am, right? He is going to lean heavy on Michael Keaton, I feel, because that 89 Batman meant a lot to a lot of people and what it did. And people lost their minds when the announcement of Michael Keaton coming back.
What would leaning heavy on Michael Keaton look like?
I'm not talking about full-on Robert Pattinson type action in Batman.
Okay, so you don't mean a Michael Keaton trilogy?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got his own kind of Dark Knight standalone old school movie. Remember, they were supposed to do a movie with Clint Eastwood like 10 years ago when Clint Eastwood was 120. Or 15 years or whatever they were going to do. There's stories of an older Bruce Wayne coming back and doing some stuff. Now, I don't think it's going to be on the level of a full-on action movie, but maybe more that detective story that we want to see, which is so interesting when you bring up the Batman and Matt Reeves. Is my next question to you. What DC I thought was doing well when there was no direction and they didn't have these positions full, but they were still trying to make money and trying to get their property seen. They put out movies like the Batman,
Joker,
these standalone movies on the side. You think granted, they're still doing Joker because they made a lot of money. They're still doing the Batman because the first one made a lot of money. People liked it. Do they stop this now? Or they still make side adventure movies here and there?
Well, last week they announced 15 spin-offs of the Batman.
What? Well, yeah, but that's, right, because of Penguin and all that, right, because it all, in Arkham.
Yeah,
right,
so, I mean,
right.
I think that they must have known that this deal was coming through before they made that announcement. That would be really weird for them to announce, we're going to focus on the villains and then just scrap that like 5 days later.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that they're still going through with that.
But outside of Batman and outside of Joker, because those things are still, do they start everything developed in DC? Does it fit into James Gunn and Safran's DC?
Well, I don't know that we can say outside of Batman and Joker because, I think that that's going to take us down a Mr. Freeze possible path, somebody that we haven't seen, but that seems like what they're talking about, focusing on the villains more. So I am a little, not concerned, curious, I guess, what the fuck their plan is that they have a full-blown Batman universe.
Right.
That's their
thing.
That's their thing. Batman's their thing. Superman's their thing too, but
is there any chance that Safran, because Batman 2 hasn't been written yet, right? It's being written, or it's written, but it's like pre-production right now. Is there any world where Safran and Gunn sit Matt Reeves down and go, hey, because we have this multiverse and we have all this stuff too, we want to try to fit this into our DC overall, whatever it's called, DC, what's it called now?
Studios.
DC Studios is called, so no longer called DCEU or.
I think DCEU is still what the Wonder Woman that group is, but DC Studios is the name of what they're co-running.
Got it. All right, so
and as opposed to DC Entertainment.
But whatever they have a new name for whatever the DC, their DCEU is getting. Let's get into that, and we can ask these continuing stories here. Where is it? There it is. Okay.
Do you think that Ezra will be replaced by Armie Hammer? That's I think it's on everyone's mind.
It's possible. No, I don't.
No.
Pepper a little Kevin Spacey in there, and you've got yourself a hit.
You got yourself a Dua Lipa bio.
The other thing that I'm really excited to see what he does, and by he I mean Gunn, I guess, Gunn and Safran.
Yeah.
where the fuck is Harley Quinn? Where is she in all of this?
Right.
Like, and,
Well,
and,
he
loves
her.
her.
Yeah.
So I feel like at first they realized what they had in her. Every Halloween costume, and then Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was actually really well done, and obviously I have my opinions on why it didn't perform well, but also pandemic having a lot to do with that, the timing of it all. I do think that Gunn really believes in Margot Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
And I
think he used her the best in the Suicide Squad so far.
I wonder if while we are running out of the Batman trilogy, we don't focus on the Batman. We focus on these other movies. And then when they are done, we full-blown focus on bringing the Batman into the DCEU or whatever they're going to call it.
Well, I also wonder if they're going to do like once they, because what I wonder is how they're going to do it. What they don't want to do, so Star Wars just came out, a report came out on Star Wars Newsnet the other day, how Chapek basically said to Kathleen Kennedy, stop announcing movies before they come out because it's just bad. It's not working, right? So my wonder is if DC and James Gunn, they start putting together these movies in this slate, do they want to make a big splash? And after, because they start on November 1st, they're going to start developing their pitches, their plan. When do they start announcing that plan? And let me before we even go into that, I want to have this story here again by Dark Horizons here. And here is, in the week's biggest news yesterday, filmmaker James Gunn and partner Peter Safran were announced as taking charge of DC projects at Warner Bros. Discovery. With their installation, we know the DC Films division has been scrapped and replaced with the newly formed DC Studios division, which is what Roxy was just talking about. Now it seems there's been another name change. The Zack Snyder heavy interconnected DC tenure that began with 2013's Man of Steel has been branded into the DCEU for years. Now the Wrap reports that an internal memo from Zaslav, this is going to go over well with the Snyder fans, the various projects of the new division is going by the new minted and shortened moniker of the DCU. Okay.
So they're
MCU,
just taking out
DCU.
extended, and they're just, I think that's...
DC Universe.
Yes, they're taking out extended.
Yeah. So the goal of Gunn and Safran's effort is to create an integrated, multi-layered universe that still allows for, it's actually easy, and it's easier to say, to be honest. Not that DCEU is so hard, but it's just DCEU.
I love DCU,
DCU.
and Andor.
In other words, it's all interconnected, but creatives can still show off. This is what Zaslav's memo says. For over 60 years, what I will say about Zaslav is he seems to really have his hands in and really be locked in. As much as I know, I don't like the way he came out at the gate.
But yeah, he's paying attention for
He's
sure.
paying attention, and he seems to really be involved and wants to get that big win. For over 60 years, these and other DC characters have captivated and inspired generations of fans around the world, and as stewards of the iconic franchise, we feel a responsibility to preserve and expand the DCU for the enjoyment of future generations. In many ways, we have only begun to scratch the surface. James and Peter have a broad vision for DC storytelling and how it all fits together, and they plan to create even more compelling and unforgettable experiences for DC fans worldwide while building a sustainable growth business out of the iconic franchise. Gunn and Safran are highly respected by creatives and talent alike and bring their own deep love and appreciation for the characters and stories of the DCU to their new role. As they told me, this is a passion project for them, not just a job. And that is sure. What, you don't like that?
No, it's just funny. Passion projects usually don't pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Gunn, of course, is well known to the public for steering the Guardians franchise and well received the Suicide Squad and even better received Peacemaker series. Safran brings 25 years of producing experience and familiarity with the genre, producing the Aquaman and Shazam franchises. So far, reception to the hiring has been almost universally positive from both the industry and the public. Plenty of questions still linger over what can be done during the pair's 4-year contractual term.
I think DCU is fine. To go back to your previous thing about the announcement, I understand that a lot of DC fans would disagree with me here, and that's okay. I think that they need a slate. I think that they should announce a slate. I think people have such little faith in DC right now that if they gave us even a 2-year, 5, like,
what's
it
your
doesn't
plan?
need to be a 15-year slate.
It tells you the plan.
But what's your plan?
Right.
Because right now, the fact that we've gone in 5 different directions. What's happening with the Batman, but then the Joker, but then also the Suicide Squad stuff.
Right.
But and then what's Michael Keaton? Like,
Right. What does it
I
look
just want
like?
to get excited.
Yeah, you
want to
know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely, that's why I asked the question, right? It's like, what does it look like? What will it look like? And I agree with you, actually, that I do think that they should announce a plan, even though I get very, and I also agree that Kathleen Kennedy should stop announcing movies because it
both can be true at the same time.
Yes, because history also dictates that it's not working for them over there to keep doing that. Marvel announces plans, announces movies, most of the time come to fruition. Most of the time. They've had a few.
They switch dates and stuff.
Yeah, but then they've had a couple projects that, I mean, even look at like Blade, right? They put Blade in Blade. Blade's still going to happen, but it's pushed back a little bit more right now. And then what was the Immortals? I forget what there was one that they announced years ago that never came to be. And then they had a bunch of different titles. But anyway, for the most part,
DC does it all the effing time.
right? That's the fear, right? The fear is that if they're going to do it again this time, that they do it, they've got to make sure that a lot of them take place. But I think announcing a slate, I agree with you though. It's going to go, okay, you're not just announcing a slate at this point. You're announcing the vision.
A direction.
Yes.
I think that I would rather them announce a 5-year slate and then shift things, or 1 or 2 things get dropped than no announcement, because I just want to know where your focus is.
Yeah.
Like, what should I be expecting as a DC fan? What should I start? This is the most exciting thing about being a DC fan or a Marvel fan. What should I start reading?
Yeah.
Like, who are you going to put on the slate that I should be like, oh, okay, that's somebody that I'm interested in. I want to learn more.
Yeah.
Like, what should I start
And we're not even
looking
talking about Blue Beetle. Like, Blue Beetle's part of the plan, right? That comes out in August as well.
right?
Yeah, no, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, that one they've been pretty clear that
that's
they're
what I said.
doing that one.
But remember, initially when they announced Blue Beetle, they are also talking about doing a Booster Gold thing.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what's going on with Supergirl. It seems like Blue Beetle didn't end up getting the Batgirl treatment, which is good.
Yeah, they're happy about that movie.
Yeah, but is that straight to HBO Max?
No, it was originally going to be, but they're so confident
shifted?
they want to put it's coming out next August.
Damn, what's the budget on that? Like 70 mil? Is it that?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But either way, there's so much. There's so much, and I think that what I will say is, I do think they should announce it. I do think they should have, because if you look at it, 4 years seems like a lot. It's not.
It's not
at all. What you're gonna do in 4 years, in that first year, it's really about making your deals and putting together your plan, because you're not going to get a movie off the ground. You probably get Man of Steel in the next 3 years, right? They'll have 1 year left of their contract by the time that even comes out. They have a few other things that are coming out, that Blue Beetle, that is not under their regime. So
Shazam 2?
Shazam 2, which is part
I mean, it's done, though.
Right, it's done, but it is Peter Safran, right?
Yeah.
So, like, yes. So the question is now, what is your plan, and how do you, I think within year 1, and I think you'd probably try to aim towards Comic-Con of next year, and put on a big
fandom, if they're doing
our DC fandom, and put on a big show. And really, DC has not, I don't think, ever competed with Marvel during that Hall H panel. Has tried, but has never done it. I think that they can do it now.
If they showed up in July and behind them was the next 10 movies that they were doing, I would fucking start bawling.
Right. Okay, so there's a lot that we could continue to talk about for this one for a while.
I could go on forever. I could just talk your ear off.
Yeah, I mean, you already did.
I'm the Dua Lipa.
You're the Dua Lipa of the DC universe. So anyway, I really want to know what you guys think. We spent a lot of time on this, and as I kind of knew that we would, it was Roxy, obviously, with her knowledge on DC, and in general, this is just, as Roxy also said in the beginning, this is one of the biggest stories, definitely one of the ones we've ever covered on this show, and I think that has happened in entertainment thus far this year, easily. So I got to know your thoughts on it. I got to know what you're thinking. What is a James Gunn DC universe going to look like? What is it, him and Safran, what are they going to do together? What do you think? When's their first movie going to come out? All the stuff that we talked about, please comment and let us know. Now, we're going to get into some TV stuff, but before we do that, I got to let you guys know about WONDERY. Now, I'm so happy to be working with them, and so happy to be working with WONDERY about the Lord of the Rings series, which I have finished. People have been asking about me. I really enjoyed the finale a lot, and I can even talk about that a little bit more. But if you want to go deeper into the Candles of Numenor, the minds of Khazad-dûm, and more with the official Lord of the Rings of Power podcast. Now, Felicia Day, good friend of Brett Sheridan, and several special guests provide an inside look at the groundbreaking series and what it took to bring Middle-earth to life. People have been really buzzing about the show, especially over the last couple episodes, man, and really, and if you look at what they did and the way they brought Middle-earth back, it's fun to deep dive back into it. And each episode of the official podcast features exclusive interviews with the series showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, including the very first full breakdown of the incredible season finale. Felicia also gets behind the scenes with the cast and the crew to bring you jaw-dropping stories and Easter eggs that you don't want to miss. So watch The Rings of Power if you haven't caught up on it. Watch it. Go to Amazon on Prime Video and listen to all 8 episodes of the official Lord of the Rings of Power podcast for free on Amazon Music. You have to download the Amazon Music app now. So thank you to our friends over at Wondery, and check out the Lord of the Rings of Power official podcast, now available. All right, speaking of TV, Roxy Stryer every Thursday here on the show. I forgot today was Wednesday,
What
Thursday.
day is it?
We're starting right away.
Yeah,
This
so
show is. Wait a minute.
Wait.
Wait a minute.
Wait a stinking
Stranger
minute.
Things season 4. Why is this on the list?
Okay, so here's the deal. It's October, and all of my friends have been texting me, Brett included, being like, what spooky shows do I need to be watching?
I see what you're
The
doing.
thing is, this is the most obviously basic bitch answer I could give you. But if you haven't seen Stranger Things, then this is a perfect way to end out your October. You want to watch this show. It's really fun, but also eerie, and gets in season 4 it's awesome. So I feel like it had a little bit of a dip in maybe season 3 and then comes back with a
It's so
vengeance.
good.
Yeah, it's excellent. So this is on the list, but I feel like I don't need to spend that much time on it. Watch Stranger Things if you haven't. Midnight Mass. So this is a Mike Flanagan show. I told you guys that he has been doing that show, The Midnight Club, but my favorite of Mike Flanagan's shows is Midnight Mass. He also did Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor, but this show is really creepy. It's creepy in like a religion, exorcism, what's going on kind of way. If you like horror and you have not been watching Mike Flanagan's shows, then you have 4 shows to watch right now. He doesn't miss.
No, I knew your question about The Exorcist, by the way, about which horror movie was nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, you did? Damn, look at you go.
I knew it.
None of you
Take
guys have
that,
seen.
Dorina.
Have any
Yeah.
of you guys seen any of the Mike Flanagan shows?
No.
Tell me some of them.
It's Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass, Midnight Club.
I've seen none of them.
Okay, great. Then if you like spooky season shows, every year he's
I hear
putting
good
out.
things. Yeah, yeah.
He's really, really good. So check out Midnight Mass. It's on Netflix. Lovecraft Country is a great show that had some strange episodes, but this is an HBO show that features some people that you absolutely know and love. It is definitely a show that I think is going to live on even better than it was at the time.
Because Jonathan Majors is becoming a superstar.
He is a huge, massive superstar. So is Smollett. She's like, both of them are 2 of the most beautiful looking, 2 of the most ridiculously talented. I think she should have won an Emmy for the show. It is really like fantasy horror. So if you're into, it takes place in the 50s, but there's like crazy fantasy elements to this show. So if you're looking for a fantasy
He's
show,
an octopus.
it's actually not quite what's happening there, but I do
Okay.
understand how you get that. Okay, this is the newest show that I have been watching. It is called The Watcher. This show is based on a true story, and the fact that if you haven't seen it yet, you don't know why that's so crazy. The premise of the show is this new family moves in. It's Naomi Watts and Bobby Cannavale, and they move into a new house. It's also Jennifer Coolidge. She's the one who rents them out the house. And they move into this new house, and somebody is watching them. And they are sending them letters, and they're being like, we are here, we're watching you. And it's based on a true story. It's only 7 episodes. It is like the it show of the season.
So
What's going on?
No, let me tell you this. So normally it's usually the opposite of this. I'm always like, hey, to my wife, you want to watch this? You want to watch this? Nah.
She wants you to watch The Watcher?
She asked me to watch this show like
Oh.
7 times, and I'm like, I don't know.
Why are you
So,
saying no?
I don't know. I just wasn't in.
He just wanted to be in charge for once.
more or less.
This is the
He's
most...
like, you know what? No. And he's deep down, he's like, I really want to see that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Oops,
This is
that's
the most popular show right now
really?
amongst TV fans. Like,
Really?
if you're a TV fan, this is what you're talking
really
about
good.
right
Huh?
now.
How many episodes?
It's 7. I'm only
wow.
a couple in,
Okay,
and
okay.
already I am glued. Some people say it's a little bit campy, but I think that it's spooky campy. So
Is
and it's
Carnivale
not
in
even
it?
that campy for me. He's amazing.
Okay.
He's amazing, and she's amazing too.
All right, she always is.
Yeah. It's awesome. The Patient, I have been recommending this to you guys forever. You don't fucking listen to me, Kristian.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Have you been watching?
I'm going to tell you something. So there's one show that I have started watching that you recommended. Do you want to guess what it is? Do
It's not The Patient.
you want to guess what it is? You have one
Is it
guess.
Severance?
You have one guess.
That was my guess.
That was your guess? You're
I will-
wrong.
oh.
I'm going to tell you the show that I've been watching with my wife. It's The Patient.
No way.
Yeah, we're like 3 episodes in. It's really good.
Are you serious?
I found it on my own.
Okay.
I found it on my own.
Well,
I just decided
I'll
I was gonna
take that.
watch
I
it.
don't even
No,
care.
No, I said Roxy's been talking my ear off about the show. I got to watch it.
Here's the great thing that I can
really
finally
good.
say to you guys,
Yeah.
though, at home, because if you
Long
were...
episodes.
22 minutes.
Yeah, there's zip.
The
through.
fin-
If you're
the-
not actually
yeah,
watching...
there's one. The finale is like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it is. So
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that
yeah,
it had.
Brett, tell your story. Tell your story.
I texted
Brett,
Roxy.
well, start with this. So Brett comes in the other day, and I was like, "Hey, don't tell Roxy. I'm going to tell her on the show that I'm actually watching the show." He's like, he goes, I finished it up. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah. Well, how many episodes is it?" I was like, I thought it would take a couple of. He's like, "No, it's only like 7 or 8." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it's all done." And then I looked at. We're watching the show. We're looking through last night, and I see last night just aired, and I go, "Brett told me 2 days ago he finished it." I'm like, "What? So what happened, Brett?"
This is why that's so crazy, because this is no spoilers. The premise of the show is that a man, a serial killer kidnaps his therapist.
Yeah.
And the entire premise of the show is this therapist going to get out or not? And so you just thought that they didn't,
Don't say anything. I don't know. You're right.
they didn't answer the question one way or the other.
I thought it was a cliffhanger for the next season. I had no, because you've been talking about it for so long, I assumed that this was something that you watched and you binged and you were done with it. But that's why I was confused when I texted you when I said, "Hey, I finished," and you're like, "Oh, don't tell me because I'm just watching the last one tonight." So I honestly don't know if I've gotten to 8 or 9, but there's 10.
That's what I like about you, Brett. You're on it.
Yeah, I'm in like it's everything's going good up there.
I just want you guys at home to validate me for a second. Every week I was like, it's currently on. And it's only 22-minute episodes, so
I knew
get
it.
on it.
I knew it. I just wasn't watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I knew it, and
So-
I watched. It's a really good show. Steve
it's
Carell
great.
is fantastic.
He's so good.
You're
at
right.
it.
That scream he makes in the first episode is
Oh
incredible.
my god.
But I love the way that they kind of cut back and forth with story that you can tell I'm not lying that I actually watched it.
Yeah.
With the story with his family and the other idea. So it's not just it would still would have been good if it was a contained story just in this basement, but they actually give you a little bit more and they cut back and forth. And Donald Gleason is next level in this show.
So this is the really good news. The show is now done, and the finale justifies watching this show. It is they land.
They land it.
They land it. I saw on Twitter everybody being like, "Have you watched this finale yet?" Because it's very enticing and very emotional.
Okay.
So they do a really good job with it. The Patient, it's on Hulu. It's FX on Hulu, and it's really, really good. Check it out. I am in season 497 of The Walking Dead, and I don't talk about it enough because there's nobody to talk to about it.
We're not even with Skybound.
That's what I'm
anymore.
saying. Like, we're not even with Skybound anymore. I love this show. I think that I think we're in the final season. I kind of forget they are like giving us all the stuff.
That much I remember about the meetings.
Yeah. We're in the final season. They're pulling out all the stops. You remember that much about the meetings, but you still put a picture of Andrew on the cover?
It said returns October.
Oh, wow. Okay,
that's the I don't know. Is he not back? I thought he came back.
I mean, maybe this is Return to October years ago. I don't know.
I don't know. I just picked it up. It was the first thing I found of Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Is he not back yet?
I haven't seen him.
Oh.
But I'm 2 episodes behind.
He's been gone for a long time.
He's been gone for a minute, but I actually really like the show. And if you're looking for something to binge that is zombie related, then you have a ton of episodes. Just check it out if you haven't watched The Walking Dead. Season 1 is awesome.
Oh, there you go. So Roxy Stryer talking about TV. And this is what I love. It's one of my favorites. I got to thank my brother for coming up, really having the idea to do that.
You skipped over so many of my good shows.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I did?
Yeah, I'm
Stop
sad
this.
about it.
Wait.
You skipped over 2 that I really love, and it's okay.
one?
You're allowed to do it.
That one?
Okay.
No, that's all I got.
No, you
Octopus
didn't.
guy.
No.
What am I missing?
You're missing Yellow Jackets,
Holy farts. I did. You know what? I do have.
and you're missing Black Mirror.
But
And
I
I'm gonna
pulled
tell
both
them.
those images.
I'm gonna tell them
I know
about it.
why. I know why.
happened.
Go ahead. Talk about it.
Okay, Black Mirror anthology series. This is awesome. You can watch any individual episode if you want.
Yeah.
They are going to do another season. We don't know when, but this show is great and worth your time. Yellow Jackets was a show from this year that was like nominated for all of these Emmys, and then people started to get buzz about it. I had watched it previously. It is so effing good. It's on Showtime. Horror fans are loving the show. It's like Lost. In the sense that
Dorina loves it.
Yeah,
right?
Dorina loves it, which is how you know that it's a good show or for horror fans. It's like Lost in the sense that in the first episode, we've got a big plane crash that leaves a bunch of these high school girls, this girls' soccer team on an island. It's not an island. It's they don't know where, deserted location. And then it's like weird things are happening on the island. It's not supernatural like Lost, but it is intense and scary and like person-on-person crime. It's really, really good, and we're jumping back and forth between who got off, who survived, and who didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a different show.
And it's about bees that sting and make your nose bleed. So I'm getting good at this. The island is infested with bees.
I want you guys to know
Make
something.
your nose bleed.
I want you guys to know something. This week, all week, I was like, okay, what can I talk to them about? What can I bring them that brings them knowledge, really is helpful for them, is going to make them want to watch these shows? Like, what can I do? Let me put together a really cohesive list on Showtime, on Netflix, on HBO, on Hulu, depending on what streaming service they have.
Serious.
Like, let me do this for you.
Really take it serious and don't mess around.
And then Brett is like, let me actually just take my fucking farts and put them on your face.
Did I put my dick in the soup?
Put your dick in the soup, bro.
What's that one on? By the way, just to
You actually don't get my attention anymore.
Oh man.
All right, anyway, listen, thank you. I do appreciate your segment every week.
I do too.
No, you don't.
I started patient
You
before
did before I did. That's true. It's true.
And finished it never.
Never. Well, I
No,
will
I
tonight.
will finish it before you do.
I'm so excited to
But
go.
what
tell
I
my
did
son.
finish, and I think we all finished, and we'll finish the show with this. Great transition, me. Thanks. House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. We are going to spoil House of the Dragon, and I've covered it. I had Rachel Cushing-Levine come in. We did a full season conversation.
Oh, she changed her last name?
Yeah. So that you can actually go and check that out on the channel. We had a full talk for about an hour about this series in general. So we were just going to get our thoughts here. And it's a conversation, again, that I had on John's show the other day. Is this one of the best shows, first seasons of any show? And I said it's in the conversation. I think that Sopranos, Breaking Bad are definitely also in the conversation. But this was just next level stuff. And yes, it had Game of Thrones. My point that I made, it had Game of Thrones beforehand, so it had to step up on these other shows for as far as viewership goes. But the difference was not everybody loved that last season of Game of Thrones. So it had a lot of people kind of sitting there like this. All right, what do you got, Game of Thrones? And then by the end of it, people are losing their minds. I have never, every time I do reactions, I'm usually being, I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh, hey, and I'll crack jokes, and people are like, you're not really reacting. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to start to go, in the middle of a moment. I lost my mind during this episode.
I saw.
When you saw it, like you know me, that was 100% legit.
Yeah, you
like
were-
I was
you were
pissed
losing.
because of kids. Anytime with kids,
You're
you
like,
don't
no,
get me.
no.
No, because I love that kid. They set it up so well.
Yeah.
And then the way when they kill him with the dragon and the way that comes in, and like, when did you watch it? Watch the night of?
Yeah.
Did you love it? The whole series, or what did you think of the whole series?
The whole series I loved. I mean, the beginning. Okay, I think I did say the first one. I was kind of like, this is okay. It was a little tame, I think.
Oh right, I remember
The
you
first
saying that.
one.
Yeah.
But then I totally just got into it, and there's been moments that he wanted that Games of Thronesy, just like, oh God. But
Right.
this one, I agree with you. was like, oh no, come on, why
She lost
would
2 kids in the course
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like a day and a half, 2 days. Now, a question I got to pose to you, Roxy, is after episode 1, you were very vocal about it. All the entire season was your least favorite episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They have a very similar moment.
Oh.
But very different at the same, with the birth, and except the difference is this is all Rhaenyra's. This is her choice. This is what she's doing. She goes through this on her own, but it was still a very graphic scene. It wasn't the graphic that bothered you. It was the idea that Viserys just kind of made the choice for her. Correct?
And
Didn't tell.
what I think they were trying to say about his character. Yeah, I think that this show. Okay, to answer all of your questions on this. I don't even think this is the best first season of a show this year.
Wow.
I think that goes to Severance by far. I think Severance really is on that mountaintop. I think this show is awesome. I think it's really good. I honestly, and I never say this, I'm scared to say my real opinion of some of the things that happen in this episode because you guys are so fucking vicious to me at home when I speak about this show. It's unbelievable. But
People are passionate about this show.
yeah, they're vicious.
Yeah.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
So who
Right.
gives a fuck?
Well said.
But that being said, I think that this episode was phenomenal. I think that birthing scene was amazing and
it's
true to her
rough.
character.
Yeah, it was.
It was just super true to. I think what they were trying to say about her character is she's like, I can fucking do this myself. I don't need any of you. And also, you can't do it yourself because. No. But anyway,
And the queen was born in blood.
Yeah. Yep. I thought that was an unbelievable moment. There's a moment of this episode that I thought was really not well done, and
Tell me.
I think that they shouldn't have done it.
Let's
I understand you guys
debate.
fucking disagree. I already know you disagree. It's okay to disagree. It's a fucking TV show.
Well, talk to me about it because you and I have very good conversations about this, and the reason why I'm going to say we'll probably debate on it because I thought the episode was flawless.
Do you know the moment I'm talking about?
I don't.
You really genuinely don't?
I'm trying. I'm like the.
Let's see.
Wheeling through it.
That I felt like was super unnecessary for the plot, that they did it just for shock value. It doesn't affect the plot, and it's just torture porn.
Tell me.
Is when Daemon chokes Rhaenyra for a full 30 seconds.
Oh.
I thought it was so fucking unnecessary.
Oh, I didn't. I'll tell you. Go ahead.
You and the rest of the
please,
people
please,
on the
please,
internet.
please. But I want to hear your thoughts. Why you thought it was unnecessary?
That's it.
That was it. Well,
I think it was fucking unnecessary. I have no idea why.
So his rage comes out in that moment because of the idea of, first of all, there was a lot of the bitterness that he held for Viserys, right? There was all that stuff that was. I'm just saying it was a soup of why. Plus the fact
I know why everybody liked it. I get it.
Yeah. Also being left out. Or you just didn't want to see it in general.
No, it's not that I didn't want to see it because it's
the way
violent. I think it's because
she reacted to it so well. She was like that smirk where she's like, "Oh, he didn't tell you."
the way that this show is. Do you look on Twitter at the second after it airs? Okay. He is the it guy. Sexiest. Everybody wants to be with him. Like, this is the it couple. Matt Smith. But not Matt Smith. Daemon.
Oh, Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Everybody, this is the it couple. The way people were talking about how hot that was.
Hell, we've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I don't think this audience can handle moments like that, understanding that that's abuse and not right. I don't think the audience is up to par with what they are hoping they are, because when you go to the internet,
you think someone's going to stand up for Daemon for doing that?
Everybody. I mean, I think that
we'll say I in my reaction to it was, what are you doing, guy? But it was
I
I understand the character.
You have
choice.
a fully formed frontal lobe.
You're talking. You're thinking because this wasn't a little like, hey, give me a little choke during the bedroom.
Not in the bedroom. No.
Yeah, this was like full on abuse. I see what you're saying.
It absolutely was.
And
100%
I feel like
it was.
we already. And it's not like I'm not a fucking moron. We saw him murder his fucking his ex-wife.
Yeah, he's a vicious motherfucker.
Right. He's not my dream man. I'm not tweeting things like that. I think it's crazy. It's crazy what people are saying. And so
you were Sir Kristen for a while. You're not anymore.
No, I think that he got wronged and he is a prick.
Right.
I think they're all pricks.
And it's funny because now
except for Rhaenys, who I fucking love.
Luke, you're a good kid. Oh,
Yeah, that's a
hate it.
bummer. I love that part though.
Me too.
I mean, come
Me
on,
too.
like
It was a great
the way
moment.
the dragon looks as he's falling.
Oh, it's vicious.
I tried to
bits and pieces.
Steph doesn't want to watch the show. She wants to know what happens before she watches it because she's such a scaredy cat.
Yeah.
So she read a synopsis of it and then she called me and was like, "So how does one dragon kill another dragon?" I'm like, "He just bit him." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "He just fucking bit him in half, bro." Like,
He's like 5 times the
Yeah.
size. Yeah.
massive.
Yeah. She is 5 times
Yeah,
the size.
yeah. Come on.
Anyway, so much more to talk about that we could talk about forever, but we gotta run here today. What a full on show it was. Thank you for all your TV picks. Thank you for being here. And
Apparently, Roxy doesn't like abuse towards women. You heard it here
The
first.
thing is, you guys are all going to be like, "Oh, well, the men, they got their heads cut off and all this shit."
Yeah.
I understand, but that's not... Having dudes get their heads cut off, like, in that scenario is not a problem we have in the real world. It doesn't... It's not... There's no correlation. I'm concerned. And that's not the creator's responsibility necessarily.
I know what you're saying.
But it's fucking concerning.
You're from a lot of the stuff that you're in general and how it relates, and you just don't trust the mindset of certain people.
I really, truly don't.
I get it, but
women
but
included. Women included.
That's what I don't understand. I don't find him sexy.
No,
I don't know why
but here's
women-
what I want you to do for a second with this question, because what you're saying, I get it. Story wise, though, point of who the character is in general, you would get why he would do something like that. You're just more concerned about how people.
I think we've made the point. I think we made the point that this is who he is.
Okay. All right. Look, there's so much more. There's a lot more. And if you want to see more of the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, I got all spoiler stuff on there. You can find that. I got a full episode with Rachel Cushing-Levine that you can check out. And this one, we have so many opinions on the DC stuff. Do you like the DCU name? Do you like the James Gunn stuff? All of that stuff. Make sure that you comment and let me know. We got to know. I want to know. So, if you also haven't done it, get yourself one of these shirts, man. Big Thing's going to be up there, too. So, make sure you check that out. Get the Big Thing shirt. Do it soon. Do it quick. Do it fast. Because there's a sale going on, especially for all the Halloween designs they have at TeePublic. Use that link in the description. Browse around. And you help out the show when you do it. So, thank you guys for joining us. I really appreciate you. And we will see you guys tomorrow for Capes and Cowls. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the flip side. For Roxy and Brett, I'm me. You're you.